Parasite, Gu, breeding long vitae path, starting from the love-enamored Gu. By Thousand Lakes True Person. Chapter 121, Promotion to Qi Cultivation 9th Layer. What exactly do you mean? Lang Yuexi wanted to be angry, but for some reason, she couldn't muster any anger at that moment. Even her heart felt a trace of happiness. What do I mean? Does Senior Lang still not understand? Let me be blunt, I want you to become my Dao companion. Zhou Sui looked at Lang Yuexi, saying so straightforwardly. Honestly, he wasn't normally so bold, rarely acting so impulsively. But just now, the obsession Gu deep within him seemed to stir, giving rise to a mysterious energy. This filled him with sudden courage, and his instinct told him that doing this could win the favor of the woman before him, and even obtain her. At that indistinct moment, there's an extreme attraction between them, like yin and yang, or like magnets. What are you talking about? Don't you already have 3 Dao companions? Why do you set your sights on me? Hearing this, Lang Yuexi's face turned red, and she stuttered out her words. She had completely forgotten that she was a Foundation Establishment cultivator, acting like just an ordinary woman. She felt at a loss for words in the face of the man's declaration, unsure of what to say. And this shameless man was utterly disgraceful. While her 3 Dao companions are in seclusion for cultivation, he ran over to flirt with her. How thick-skinned could he be? Did he think of her as some loose woman? However, in the world of cultivation, it was normal for men to have several wives and concubines, so it didn't seem like such a big deal. In the cultivation world, there were no clear rules stating that a man couldn't have a 4th Dao companion after having 3. Senior Lang, how many Dao companions I have is irrelevant. The key now is your thoughts and mine. From the moment I first laid eyes on you, I wanted to obtain you. Zhou Sui took hold of Lang Yuexi's slender hand and then lifted her by her waist. Stop, you shameless ruffian, you scoundrel. Do you know who I am? I am the young sect master of the Immortal Mist sect, a grand Foundation Establishment cultivator, the future Golden Core master. How dare you do this to me? An insignificant Qi cultivation stage cultivator, you are too bold. Who gave you such courage? Hurry up and put me down. Lang Yuexi felt her body go weak, unable to muster any strength, her face blushing red, body temperature rising as if her whole body was on fire. This man was too domineering. How could he treat her this way? Was he relying on the fact that he had done her a favor and thought he could do as he pleased to her? As for why she didn't resist, she had no choice. After all, she was just a weak Foundation Establishment female cultivator. She couldn't withstand this strong Qi cultivation stage man. So, she just had to endure his bullying. Indeed, it couldn't be helped, she was just too weak. With such reasoning, she comforted herself, finding various excuses. The night passed. Your spiritual route has advanced to a certain extent. You have gained a lot of cultivation experience for the Foundation Establishment realm. The Obsession Gu has gained a lot of energy, advancing to the high-quality 2nd stage. You have gained a lot of energy, advancing to the 9th layer of Qi cultivation. At that moment, Zhou Sui sensed a massive amount of information from the depths of the Obsession Gu. These were the fruits of his labors overnight. Obviously, the fruits of such labor were tremendous. Boom! At that moment, he realized the energy of his true yuan was surging like a tide within his body. Compared to before, its power had at least doubled. His true yuan, soul power and physical strength had achieved geometric increases. Honestly, after obtaining the union of a Foundation Establishment female cultivator, the benefits were too enormous, immeasurable, surpassing his imagination. Originally, he'd thought it would take at least 1 or 2 years, even with the help of pills, to advance to the 9th layer of Qi cultivation. But now, after obtaining the energy of a Foundation Establishment female cultivator's union, it was as if he had consumed a potent medicinal herb, saving him years of bitter cultivation. This allowed his cultivation to suddenly break through to the 9th layer of Qi cultivation. Moreover, not only had he reached the 9th layer of Qi cultivation, but he had even progressed further to 60% of the 9th layer. In a short time, he could reach the peak of the 9th layer. By then, he could attempt to establish his foundation and become a Foundation Establishment cultivator. Honestly, his progress was unbelievably fast. Even a sect master's direct disciple or prodigy with numerous resources at their disposal couldn't keep up with his cultivation speed. If word got out, it would certainly shock the cultivation world. Of course, Zhou Sui wouldn't be foolish enough to spread this news. He would quietly make a fortune. So this is the sensation of the 9th layer of Qi cultivation? It's so powerful. Zhou Sui was amazed. At that moment, all the meridians in his body had been completely opened, with the vast true yuan flowing within like a river, circulating through every part. It was as if a perfect cycle had formed, pulsating with endless vitality. Honestly, the strength at the 9th layer of Qi cultivation was at least more than double that of the 8th layer. After all, a 9th layer cultivator has fully opened all the meridians in the body. It's not just about having a true yuan that's twice as strong, but it's about forming a cycle with it. With such a cycle, a 9th layer cultivator could recover their true yuan several times faster. How could an 8th layer cultivator compare to a 9th layer one? The difference was just too great. Of course, reaching this realm was also extremely difficult. Ordinary loose cultivators would need at least 10 to 20 years to break through. Even for sect cultivators possessing upper-grade spirit roots would need several years of intense cultivation with the aid of a variety of pills and spirit medicine to possibly break through the bottleneck of the 8th layer. But now Zhou Sui, with the help of Lang Yuexi's union, easily broke through, saving him years of bitter cultivation. Such a benefit was too great. Indeed, it's better to have more Dao companions, especially high-quality ones. A good Dao companion can save a lot of cultivation time. If I have 3,000 Dao companions, wouldn't I ascend after crossing the tribulation? Others rely on popping pills, I rely on marrying Dao companions, the results are the same. All paths lead to the same goal. Zhou Sui touched his chin, feeling pleased. Chapter 122, Lifespan comparable to that of a Foundation Establishment Cultivator, Experiences from Foundation Establishment Cultivation Practice. Hold on, is this Lang Yuexi's cultivation experience? At this time, Zhou Sui also sensed a vast amount of information coming from the depths of his sea of consciousness. Upon careful contemplation, it turned out to be Lang Yuexi's daily cultivation experience. It's worth noting that such cultivation experiences are generally challenging to pass on to others. Even the person involved might struggle to fully explain them. But with this kind of experience transmission, it felt as if he had personally gone through Lang Yuexi's cultivation process. The benefits of this were beyond measure. After all, this was the cultivation experience of someone at the foundation establishment level. Essentially, it allowed him to get a taste of what it's like to cultivate at the foundation establishment level. This would be unimaginably beneficial for his future cultivation and even breaking through to the foundation establishment realm. Only the obsession Gu could have such power. It's a pity that it's only part of the experience. However, with a few more dual cultivation sessions, I might be able to gain the full experience. Zhou Sui stroked his chin thoughtfully. After pondering this newfound cultivation experience, he immediately felt a surge of benefit. After all, Lang Yuexi was a cultivator from a conventional sect, whose teachings were incomparable to his own rough and ready methods. Having received a complete cultivation education, her foundation was significantly stronger than his. However, fortunately, he was able to gain similar experience from Lang Yuexi, essentially compensating for his lacking foundation from earlier. With these thoughts in mind, he examined his virtual panel. Host, Zhou Sui, Cultivation, Qi Cultivation Nineth Layer, Progress 60%, Lifespan, 23, 250 years. Aptitude, 7th grade Spiritual Root, 97%. Swordsmanship, 1st grade Superior, 99%. Rune, 1st grade Superior, 99%. 7th Order Formation, 1st grade Superior, 55%. Pill Master, 2nd stage Inferior, 29%. Phantasma Transformation Skill, Minor Accomplishment, 55%. 5 Elements Alchemy Technique, Great Achievement, 5%. 7 Apertures Spirit Secret, Heart Eye Recognition, 15%. Fireball Technique, Grand Master, 9%, Wind Blade Art, Proficient, Golden Light Skill, Proficient, Ice Frost Skill, Proficient, Spring Wind Rain Skill, Proficient, Lightning Summoning Skill, Proficient. Obsession Gu, 2nd Stage Superior, Clone Gu, 1st Grade Superior, Wine Bug, 1st Grade Superior, Gold Eating Bug, 1st Grade Superior, Bookworm, 1st Grade Superior, Dream Soul Gu, 1st Grade Superior, Dragon Elephant Gu, 1st Grade Superior, Golden Light Thousand Poison Gu, 1st Stage Superior. Clearly, compared to before, his cultivation, abilities, and the power levels of his goo insects have all greatly improved. Wait, my spiritual root has actually reached 97%? Does this mean that I will soon reach the level of a 6th stage spirit root? Zhou Sui was pleasantly surprised upon seeing this. The improvement in aptitude had wide-ranging implications for him. The benefits weren't simply limited to enhancing cultivation efficiency, it could also increase one's comprehension skills. Once he reached the level of a mid-grade spirit root, cultivation would presumably become much less challenging. After all, a mid-grade spirit root was the minimum requirement to become a sect disciple. Even without any fortunate occurrences, cultivators of this aptitude level, who progress steadily, stand a chance to establish their foundation. My lifespan has also extended to 250 years, which is comparable to an ordinary foundation establishment cultivator. Zhou Sui stroked his chin again, feeling exhilarated. He had yet to advance to the foundation establishment realm but already had a lifespan comparable to a cultivator at that level. This was all due to the influence of the dragon elephant goo, which helped him surpass the regular human lifespan limit, gaining him a lifespan akin to that of magical beasts. It went without saying, this was hugely beneficial for him. Should he genuinely advance to the foundation establishment realm, his lifespan would perhaps increase even further. By then, it's plausible that he could live forever, becoming one of the old monsters in the cultivation world. Furthermore, the power of the obsession goo had also leveled up and reached 2nd stage superior, with the speed of its ascension being truly remarkable. This could easily be said to be one of the strongest bugs in his possession. Although it didn't have much combat capability, its auxiliary ability was no joke. Without the obsession goo, he would never have achieved his current cultivation level and accomplishments. Basically, it was the most crucial bug in his possession, with infinite uses. Who knows what miraculous ability would surface once it was promoted to the 3rd stage. As Zhou Sui was carefully examining his various abilities and delving into the mysteries of the 9th level of qi cultivation, Lang Yuexi, who had been sound asleep, woke up. She assessed her current situation, glanced at Zhou Sui sleeping next to her, and memories of last night surged forth like a flood, emitting an endless blush of embarrassment from her. You jerk, how could you do this to me? At this moment, Lang Yuexi's face flushed crimson, her petite hands in a flurry against Zhou Sui. She didn't know her feelings at this moment. She'd been single for over 80 years, remaining indifferent to countless men, never giving in to their charm. But now, she fell for this young man. If word of this made its way back to the Immortal Mist sect, it would undoubtedly send shockwaves through the sect. Who knows how many fellow disciples would be heartbroken. The esteemed fairy of the sect, akin to a snow lotus atop a mountaintop, unattainable, only to fall for a loose cultivator, it was a classic case of a toad lusting after a swan's flesh. But no matter what's done is done and can't be changed. Senior Ling, I will not apologize because this isn't something wrong. The mutual attraction and love between a man and a woman is a natural law. What is there to be faulty about? If you want to chastise me, feel free to do so. But I will take responsibility for this, I will take care of you for the rest of my life, till death do us part. Zhou Sui looked at Lang Yuexi earnestly. He was a natural when it came to sweet talk, compounded by the augmented charm he wielded thanks to the powers of the obsession goo. Lang Yuexi, her face crimson, rested on Zhou Sui, thereby tacitly consenting to the situation. After all, if she genuinely resisted, how could a little qi cultivation stage cultivator forcibly take advantage of a mighty foundation establishment cultivator? In the final analysis, she was just a huntress disguised as prey. Who exactly would be on the losing end is still uncertain. But what should we do if Ji's sister and the others find out about this? Lang Yuexi was slightly worried about this. After all, being the dishonorable woman she was, she took advantage of the time when the other Dao companions were in secluded cultivation for foundation establishment, and had an unclean relationship with a husband in the presence of his wives. If they start accusing her of being a seductress, she'd lose face big time. Don't worry, they are all well aware, they will surely understand. Moreover, all of you are my Dao companions. There's nothing to quarrel about. In the future, you all will be sisters. Zhou Sui responded, nonchalantly. Lang Yuexi nodded, feeling considerably relieved. After all, she was a traditional woman who did not intend to break up this family but to join this big family. Chapter 123, The Constitution Favored by Witches, Invitation to Explore the Golden Core Cave Dwelling. For 5 or 6 consecutive days, Zhou Sui was mainly engaged in dual cultivation with Lang Yuexi. They were, after all, newlyweds and were hence enthusiastic about this practice. Of course, this type of dual cultivation was tremendously beneficial for both Zhou Sui and Lang Yuexi. My dear, I feel like my physical strength seems to be improving. Even the physical deficit caused by the severe blue demon poison previously has been totally replenished. And it has improved beyond that. No wonder the girls find dual cultivation with you so enjoyable. It's because it has such great benefits. Lang Yuexi was genuinely delighted because after decades of dual cultivation with Zhou Sui, she felt herself growing stronger. Her recovery was comparable to that of a cultivator at the Foundation establishment realm. The physical deficit resulting from the severe poison was not only replenished but enhanced further. She felt that without several years, it would have been impossible to make up for the deficit in her body. But several days of dual cultivation with Zhou Sui brought about full recovery. This was truly unthinkable. Undoubtedly, this man before her has an unimaginable constitution, offering substantial benefits for female cultivators, hence yielding these effects. If knowledge of Zhou Sui's physical constitution were to become public, then surely countless witches of the demon sex would pay significant attention, and may even want to kidnap Zhou Sui for their use. After all, these demon sect female cultivators lack moral scruples, they would do anything to enhance their own cultivation. If Zhou Sui were to fall into the hands of these witches, he would be like a lamb thrown among wolves and would surely be defiled. So, can you begin condensing the golden core soon? Zhou Sui inquired curiously. He knew very well that Lang Yuexi was a cultivator at the peak of the Foundation establishment realm, thus she should have been ready to try forming the golden core. However, because she was sabotaged by the ghost demon sect, her progress in forming the golden core was delayed. Now that her body has recovered, it wouldn't be surprising if she tried to form the golden core again. Yes. Lang Yuexi nodded, I have already reached the peak of the Foundation establishment realm and can try forming the golden core. Moreover, I have prepared some catalysts for golden core formation such as ice fire spiritual liquid which I acquired at the last auction. This will increase my chances of forming the golden core by 30%. Also, the materials I've obtained from the immortal mist sect should increase the probability to at least 70%. However, I don't think it's the right time yet. After dual cultivation with my dear, I realized that there are still some deficiencies I need to make up for. If I could remedy these issues thoroughly, the probability for forming the golden core will increase to 80% or even 90%. She clenched her fists. For her who possesses the first grade spirit root, forming the golden core is almost a certainty, especially with the aid of the resources from the immortal mist sect. Because of these reasons, nearby sects were so wary of Lang Yuexi's potential. If Lang Yuexi succeeded, the immortal mist sect would be unprecedented, boasting 3 golden core masters. In that case, we should continue dual cultivation for a while longer. Zhou Sui felt quite satisfied thinking that if Lang Yuexi became a golden core master, he would have a Dao companion of the same rank. Wouldn't he then be able to tread freely in the region then without anyone daring to offend him? Thump, thump, thump. Just then, rhythmic beats echoed through the mountain valley, signaling arriving visitors. It seems the Shen family have arrived. Zhou Sui sensed over a dozen cultivators from the Shen family appearing outside of the mountain valley, including Shen Sheng, the Foundation establishment cultivator, who had visited before and a descendant of the Shen family, Shen Wan. We should go and see. Lang Yuexi decided she also wanted to meet the cultivators in the Cloud Mist mountain range. She might have to dwell here for a while and it wouldn't be wise to create tensions with their neighboring cultivators. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. With this thought in mind, Zhou Sui made no hesitation and immediately got up from bed. Both of them then greeted the Shen family at the entrance of the valley. Of course, Lang Yuexi had to unassumingly alter her appearance into an ordinary female cultivator. This way, no one would recognize her as the renowned young sect master of the Immortal Mist sect. This identity was simply too noticeable and may attract the Ghost Demon sect, thus inviting untold danger. Zhou Cultivator friend. On seeing Zhou Sui emerge, Shen Wang greeted him and quickly noticed Lang Yuexi as well, treating her with reverence. Didn't expect to see you here, senior. Congratulations on coming out from your cultivation. After all, she was a Foundation establishment cultivator, demanding an entirely different level of respect. Why have you come this time? Lang Yuexi asked, unfazed. Finally, we meet in person. Shen Sheng laughed heartily, not to hide anything, we do have a purpose visiting this time. Not only did we come to the Cloud Mist mountain range for the spirit medicine and materials from the beasts. In fact, we've also discovered a golden core cave dwelling. Unfortunately, the array safeguarding the dwelling is too difficult to break. Hence, we'd like to invite you to collaborate with us. Should we find any treasures inside, we're happy to equally split it. Honestly, he didn't wish to invite this unfamiliar Foundation establishment cultivator. Any added person would mean less share of benefits. The issue was recent discoveries revealed that the dwelling was protected by a triple array. It took over a decade to resolve only one layer of the array. What's remaining was still daunting. So pondering over it, he realized they needed more help to save time. Even for Foundation establishment cultivators, life isn't infinite. If he didn't advance to a complete Foundation establishment cultivator soon, hope of achieving a golden core in his lifetime would be slim. And precisely for this reason, they considered the nearby enigmatic Foundation establishment cultivator. Golden core cave dwelling. Upon hearing this, Lang Yuexi waved her hand. Forget about it, I'm not interested in this. As long as you don't disturb me, that's all I ask. We've come to the Cloud Mist mountain range only to find the second stage demon core. We do not wish to complicate things further. She firmly rejected their invitation. What? Members of the Shen family were taken aback, they never could have imagined she would refuse their invitation. After all, which Foundation establishment cultivator wouldn't be ecstatic at the mention of a golden core cave dwelling, itching to go explore immediately? Because this meant immeasurable benefits. Yet, this enigmatic Foundation establishment cultivator was simply uninterested in a golden core cave dwelling. Was it due to her extraordinary wealth or the fact that she was too timid? All right then, if you're not willing, we won't insist. This visit, we were hoping to trade some cultivation resources. We hope to share resources. Shen Sheng, the cultivating Shen master, didn't take offense. He simply smiled and tried to negotiate a trade of valuable cultivation resources with Lang Yuexi to benefit all parties. That's acceptable. Lang Yuexi nodded, as she herself had some extra resources on hand and was planning to collaborate on an exchange. Chapter 124, Gathering of Foundation Establishment Cultivators, treated as easy targets. It did not take long before the monks of the Shen family left. Zhou Sui also took out many successfully refined pills and spiritual wine from his body, in exchange for the spiritual medicines obtained by the other party from the Cloud Mountains, as well as various kinds of monster meat, materials, and so on. After all, due to the dragon elephant goo, his food intake has greatly increased. Every day, he needs to eat a lot of monster meat. Naturally, the more resources the better. Those he can't eat can be stored in the goo divine bowl, and they won't go bad anyway. The first and second stage monster meat stored in the goo divine bowl is now enough for him to eat for 10 years. Of course, as his cultivation level and appetite increase, the food supply may decrease a bit. However, this is absolutely sufficient to cope with the current situation. Husband, how well did I do? Lang Yuexi blinked her beautiful eyes, looking at Zhou Sui for praise. Because she knows that her husband is not a person who likes taking risks or exploring relics and caves. After all, no one knows what dangers there will be inside the caves. The number of cultivators who die every year while exploring the caves is countless. Looking at the current cultivation situation, regardless of whether he needed the treasures within the cave, he could cultivate to the Foundation establishment realm, and even to the Golden Core realm, so why did he have to follow them to take the risk? If failed, one would lose their life. Well done, no one knows what dangers lay inside the Golden Core cave, it's right to refuse. If they really got something from it, then we can trade with them later. There is no need to take risks. Zhou Sui nodded, appreciating Lang Yuexi's actions. However, my lord, with the presence of the Golden Core cave nearby, it does not only attract the Shen family, but maybe also other clans at the Foundation establishment phase and other cultivators. Maybe the Cloud and Fog mountain range will not remain stable moving forward. Perhaps a large number of Foundation establishment cultivators will appear. Lang Yuexi noted this. The Golden Core cave has a huge attraction to Foundation establishment cultivators, and if one can gain the lifetime wealth of Golden Core cultivators, the value is simply immeasurable. Even if they don't acquire any wealth, and only obtain the secret teachings and heritage of the Golden Core cultivator, it's still a jackpot. After all, apart from big sects like Immortal Mist sect, remaining loose cultivators' legacy cultivation method, at most, would be able to reach Foundation Establishment realm. They also desperately want to obtain cultivation techniques that lead to the Golden Core realm. Only the cultivation techniques of the Golden Core level are regarded as priceless. I hope there won't be any major trouble for the time being. Zhou Sui also has a feeling of urgency. He didn't expect that he would run into such crises in a short period of time after leaving Misty Cloud City. Originally, he thought he could cultivate in peace for a while, but this trouble appeared again unexpectedly. Fortunately, his Taoist companion was a Foundation Establishment cultivator. With such a strong backing, presumably those cultivators who enter the Cloud Mountains would hesitate to make a move. Just wait for his Taoist companions to successfully establish their foundations, and then it's likely to be much safer here. Just as Lang Yuexi had predicted, the Shen family's invitation was not just fixing on Zhou Sui alone, it seemed they had invited all Foundation Establishment monks in various parts of the Cloud Fog Mountain range. For a time, the place was tumultuous, and a large number of cultivators rushed over. In just over 10 days' time, the number of Foundation Establishment cultivators in this place had increased by more than 10. From time to time, shadows of unfamiliar monks appeared around the valley, occasionally probing the valley's capacity. However, due to the prestige of Lang Yuexi, a Foundation Establishment cultivator, those strange monks did not dare to break in arbitrarily. Nevertheless, being watched by these strange monks, Zhou Sui felt very uncomfortable. He can't concentrate on cultivation. After all, who knows if these daring loose cultivators would attack the array barrier of the cave. If they were to affect the establishment of 3 of his partners, that would be a huge impact on the path of cultivation. This matter is almost intolerable. My lord, these loose cultivators are becoming more and more presumptuous. It seems that a cultivator in the late stage of Foundation Establishment has set his sights on us. Hints of cold light showed in Lang Yuexi's eyes. She was able to sense a hint of malice from the depths of the darkness. They want to explore the Golden Core cave. They should go and explore it themselves. Why do they have to bother us? Zhou Sui squinted his eyes. My lord, these cultivators are likely all loose cultivators. Those who have become Foundation Establishment cultivators as loose cultivators are all ruthless people. Who knows how many bloody deeds they have done in their youth? Only by being so, they can quickly accumulate wealth for building the foundation. Even if they become Foundation Establishment cultivators, this kind of character will not change. They are like jackals, seeing the weak and rushing up to take a bite. It seems we may be considered soft targets by these Foundation Establishment loose cultivators. Lang Yuexi said in a deep voice. It is clear that even though Lang Yuexi has shown the late stage of Foundation Establishment, among these loose cultivators, there are 1 or 2 who have reached the late Foundation Establishment phase. If they were to add a few more early stage Foundation Establishment, or even middle stage Foundation Establishment cultivators, then even with Lang Yuexi's current cultivation level, she would probably be unable to resist them. These Foundation Establishment loose cultivators probably have the same thought, hence the emergence of ill intention. The Shen family is not a good thing either. After being rejected by us, they probably harbor some resentment. Even if they did not harbor any resentment, they would want to use other loose cultivators to test our strength. So they allowed these loose cultivators to probe us. In this case, we should take the initiative to strike first, kill a batch of them, so they'll know how powerful we are. Zhou Sui clenched his fists. Though the Shen family didn't make a move against them, he instinctively felt there would definitely be intricate connections between them. Otherwise, these loose cultivators would definitely not be so audacious. But my lord, there are many of them and they have mysterious methods, I may not necessarily be their opponent, Lang Yuexi frowned. Although she is confident in her own strength, when facing so many Foundation Establishment cultivators, she cannot guarantee a 100% victory. More importantly, if these Foundation Establishment cultivators target her husband, taking Mr. Zhou hostage, she will hesitate to make a move, she has to be cautious. Don't worry, haven't you forgotten? Though my cultivation level may not be on par with the Foundation Establishment cultivators, I have a secret soul technique that can influence the Foundation Establishment cultivators. The battle between Foundation Establishment is often decided in a split second. Zhou Sui smiled slightly, brimming with confidence. After advancing to the Qi cultivation Nineth layer, his true yuan within his body has greatly improved, but more importantly, his soul power has also greatly improved. His divine sense is comparable to a late-stage Foundation Establishment cultivator. If he were to borrow the power of the Dream Soul Gu, then this soul power can even interfere with a late-stage foundation establishment cultivator. Although it cannot severely harm a late-stage foundation establishment cultivator, it can affect the opponent's actions, causing the opponent to be in a daze for a second. Chapter 125, The Power of Dream Soul Gu, Striking First is Strong. Of course, Zhou Sui's confidence in the Dream Soul Gu wasn't unfounded. Over the past few days, he had sparred with Lang Yuexi several times, experiencing the strength of the late foundation establishment stage. He could truly sense the power of a foundation establishment cultivator. On a direct confrontation, even his current state wouldn't be a match for a foundation establishment cultivator. Perhaps he would be killed in a single clash. But if it were a sneak attack, things would be completely different. With the power of the Dream Soul Gu, he could create an illusion without making a sound, trapping the foundation establishment cultivator unknowingly. It was like what happened to Lang Yuexi before. One moment of carelessness got her trapped in the power of the Dream Soul Gu, and she actually slipped into a dream for a whole second. This made Lang Yuexi break out in a cold sweat. Because if this happened in a life and death battle, she would have been killed, completely unable to resist. From that moment onwards, Zhou Sui realized the power of his Dream Soul Gu, which could certainly challenge those above his level. I see, is it your secret soul technique, husband? If it's both of us, your secret soul technique and my ambush, I fear that group of foundation establishment loose cultivators would definitely not be able to resist. The eyes of Lang Yuexi suddenly lit up. She recalled the sparring match with her husband, although she was careless then. But the effect was quite horrifying. After all, her husband was merely at the Qi cultivation 9th layer, and if he advanced to the foundation establishment realm, wouldn't he be able to sweep through the cultivators of the same rank and become invincible? Indeed, her husband was a genius. Despite being a Qi cultivation stage cultivator, the power of his divine sense was equivalent to a late foundation establishment. Such talent was beyond imagination. If she hadn't experienced it personally, she wouldn't have known that there were cultivators with such talent in this world. The first to strike prevails, better than 100 punches. Since you guys are courting death, don't blame me for it. A gleam of cold light flashed in Zhou Sui's eyes. He originally wanted to cultivate peacefully, but who would have thought that someone was not happy about his peace? Since this is the case, he could only strike first, and send them to hell. Deep into the night, outside of a valley, a makeshift camp. The leader was a late foundation establishment loose cultivator named Chu Fuki. He was a notorious robber, dangerous and brutal. Countless cultivators died in his hands. Even a true disciple from the King Mu sect was brutally killed by him. Because of this, he was wanted by the King Mu sect, with even golden core cultivators hunting him. Therefore, he got scared and hid in the Cloud Mist Mountains, surviving by relying on its harsh environment. But his dangerous character, which valued wealth more than life, did not change. He often engaged in robberies and murders in the Cloud Mist Mountains. Beside him were 3 foundation establishment cultivators, 1 was middle phase foundation establishment, and 2 were early phase foundation establishment. They got to know each other in the Cloud Mist Mountains and became sworn brothers. You could say, these 4 foundation establishment cultivators all share the same misfortune. Being hunted by golden core sects, they hid in the Cloud Mist Mountains, narrowly escaped the mouth of death. These 4 foundation establishment cultivators were referred to as the 4 demons of the Cloud Mist, making numerous cultivators live in fear. If the environment here wasn't so harsh and the number of cultivators was not small, they might have been able to set up a huge foundation establishment power and wreak havoc in this area, doing whatever they liked. Brother Chu, do we really want to make a move against the foundation establishment female cultivator? That female cultivator is a late foundation establishment sex cultivator, she is not easy to deal with, said a man in black robes, with an ugly face, and was at mid-foundation establishment stage. He felt that the mysterious female cultivator was not easy to handle. Heh, what's there to be feared of? Just a late foundation establishment female cultivator. She is a late foundation establishment, but aren't I one too? A cold gaze appeared in Chu Fuki's eyes. Based on my observations these few days, within that valley, there is only 1 late foundation establishment female cultivator, the other 4 are merely at the Qi cultivation 8th and 9th layer, barely worth mentioning. The mechanisms set up within the valley were merely first-order formations, incapable of impeding us at all. If the 4 of us were to take action, it should be an easy task. With fierce killing intent surrounding him, he felt that a mere late foundation establishment female cultivator wouldn't pose a problem. He had slain cultivators of the same realm before. Even the direct disciples of sex were nothing more than that. With an unprepared enemy against his prepared self, his victory was certain. I agree with Chu's plan. Indeed, a late foundation establishment female cultivator is formidable, but when it comes to fighting, who could compete with Chu? If the three of us foundation establishment cultivators assist from the side, outnumbering the few, I believe the late foundation establishment female cultivator is just nothing to us. A skinny small-faced early foundation establishment cultivator spoke. That's right, the foundation establishment female cultivator brought 4 Chi cultivation stage cultivators to the Cloud Mist Mountains, not having any fellow cultivators around. Even if we are facing ambushes, she wouldn't be able to find any help. I have inquired about the surrounding foundation establishment families. They do not know that foundation establishment female cultivator, they just encountered each other by chance. They definitely would not help. Just think about it, if we kill this foundation establishment female cultivator, then her spirit stones, pills, secret arts and other treasures, all will become ours. This is definitely more profitable than exploring a hidden cave. We will definitely make a fortune. The other early foundation establishment cultivator also agreed with the idea of robbing them. He was already looking forward to checking their storage bags. He had no idea how much wealth a foundation establishment cultivator could carry. But one thing he was sure about, it would be enough for them enjoy to their heart's content. I know you are worried about whether the foundation establishment female cultivator has a firm background. The question is, even if she does, so what? All 4 of us are being hunted by Golden Core sects. We are already wanted. Even if there are more bounties on us, so what? Would several Golden Core cultivators be dispatched to apprehend us? The saying goes, if you have many bugs, you aren't afraid of being bitten. We are already at this stage, we shouldn't fear anything. Chu Fuki chuckled coldly. All of you have argued quite reasonably, I agree. So when do we attack? The old man in black robe also seemed tempted, and made up his mind. There's no rush. Our movements these few days have been a bit large, and might raise the other party's guard. Let's wait a while. When things are quiet, we will launch a secret attack. We will catch that foundation establishment female cultivator by surprise. Maybe by then, she will have been killed in her sleep by us, without us getting hurt in any way. Chu Fuki gave a small smile. All right, all of this depends on you now, Chu. Each of the foundation establishment cultivators nodded in satisfaction. Boom! Just at that moment, an invisible wave of divine sense swept past, covering the 4 foundation establishment cultivators in a flash. Chapter 126, Superior Magical Treasure Golden Jiao Scissors, Cooperating with Endless. What? At this moment, Chu Fuki's hair stood on end as he felt a dangerous presage. His cultivator intuition, being at the foundation establishment stage, was wildly signaling a warning of an impending danger. He felt as if his soul was being pulled by a certain force into a dreamlike realm, leaving him momentarily befuddled. Truth be told, he had never experienced such a feeling before. The one who had made this move was none other than Zhou Sui. One of his clones had brought the Dream Soul Goo to this place, and then instantly activated its dream entering ability. It was clear that Zhou Sui, who had advanced to the Qi cultivation 9th layer, was now even more proficient at using the abilities of the Dream Soul Goo. Even a foundation establishment cultivator, when caught off guard, would be easily affected by it. After all, his current level of divine sense was comparable to a late-stage foundation establishment cultivator. In terms of soul power, there wasn't much difference between him and a late-stage foundation establishment cultivator. With their minds completely distracted, these 4 foundation establishment cultivators were instantly caught off guard. Only Chu Fuki, a late-stage foundation establishment cultivator, barely managed to fend it off, being entrapped in the dream for just 1 second. As for the other 3 cultivators, they were entrapped for at least 3 seconds each. One by one, they stared dumbfounded, completely unaware of what had just happened. Who in the blazes is trying to sneak attack me? Chu Fuki. Chu Fuki was both shocked and enraged. He activated his secret technique, allowing himself to instantly regain consciousness and break out of the dream state. Just as he was about to wake his 3 allies, a figure suddenly launched an attack from the front. It was an enchanting figure that resembled a fairy descended from the heavens. In her hand was an exceedingly terrifying top-grade magic artifact, which emitted a golden radiance. It seemed like a Jiao dragon was coming into existence, poised to rip everything in the world in half. The one who made this move was none other than Lang Yuexi. She and Zhou Sui had coordinated flawlessly. When Zhou Sui activated the dream entering ability, Lang Yuexi boldly attacked, controlling the top-grade magic artifact, the golden Jiao scissors, and charging towards Chu Fuki and the other 4 foundation establishment cultivators. The timing of her attack couldn't have been more perfect. It's over, is that actually a top-grade magic artifact? Just who among the foundation establishment cultivators from which sect is attacking me? Is this heaven's intent to annihilate me? Chu Fuki was instantly scared out of his wits. One needs to understand that magic artifacts have different levels. The most basic is a magic tool, followed by a spiritual artifact, then a magic treasure, spiritual treasure, and so on. If an ordinary foundation establishment cultivator could use a spiritual artifact, it would be quite commendable and could magnify their combat power several times. As for magic treasures, they are something only golden core cultivators are qualified to use. If a foundation establishment cultivator could use a magic treasure, their combat power would be akin to a tiger growing wings, multiplying by more than 10-fold. A foundation establishment cultivator with a magic treasure in hand could basically become invincible among those of their own tier. However, no foundation establishment cultivator could afford such extravagance. Unless they were direct disciples of a golden core sect who had been favored by their sect, they might be bestowed a magic treasure for protection. Clearly, this mysterious female cultivator who suddenly attacked must be a direct disciple of a certain sect. Otherwise, she wouldn't be so extravagant and have a magic treasure for protection. Boom boom boom. The next second, a golden light flickered and passed by. 4 foundation establishment cultivators, including Chu Fuki, were instantly cleaved in half by the golden Jiao scissors. The cut was smooth and even. Streams of blood gushed out as if there was no cost to it. These 4 foundation establishment cultivators couldn't even sustain for a second before getting instantly killed. Even if they were wearing defensive magic tools, it was of no use. In front of the top-grade magic artifact golden Jiao scissors, they were as fragile as tofu, easily torn apart. After they collapsed onto the ground, their eyes were wide open, showing expressions of terror, reluctance, and disbelief. They seemingly couldn't believe that after being active in the Yunwu mountain range and even being chased by sects like King Mu sect and other golden core sects for so many years, they could still jump around lively. But now, they were silent and fell here, getting killed without any resistance. Dear, they're all dead. Lang Yuexi looked at Zhou Sui tenderly, feeling overjoyed in her heart. She really hadn't thought that the fight would turn out to be this easy. She'd originally thought that facing 4 foundation establishment cultivators might lead to a fierce battle if something unexpected occurred. But who could have expected that these 4 foundation establishment cultivators would easily crumble at the first blow? Under the sole technique of her dear husband, they were all instantly frozen in place, unable to move their bodies. Then she executed her lethal blow, effortlessly eliminating the 4 foundation establishment cultivators. She had never fought such an effortless battle in her life before. It was a downright obliteration. Don't approach them yet, just in case they're playing dead. Use the fireball technique to burn their bodies and turn them into ashes. Zhou Sui spoke very carefully. He knew that in this cultivation world, all sorts of secret techniques were constantly emerging. It wasn't necessarily true that being cut in half meant death, it could also be a feigned death. In such a dangerously edged world, being careful, no matter to what extent, was always a wise choice. All right, dear. Lang Yuexi nodded, casting her fireball technique and instantly forming 4 fireballs. Each of them directly hit the bodies of the 4 foundation establishment cultivators, instantly sparking a massive fire. You rotten rat, even in death you won't let us off. At this moment, the corpse of the late-stage foundation establishment cultivator let out a mournful shriek. His expression was one of shock and disbelief. This man was none other than Chu Fuki. He had originally cultivated a secret soul technique, and even if his body was hacked, by relying on the soul technique, he could allow his soul to attach to his body and get a fleeting spark of life. When the enemy got close, he would then make a lethal retaliation, dying together with the enemy. But who could have foreseen that this pair of vile couple would be so cautious and cunning? They had no intentions of approaching his corpse, instead, they attacked from long range, burning his corpse. This left him without a chance to use his tactics. But no matter how unwilling he was or how angry he was, it was of no avail. Zhou Sui and Lang Yuexi never approached, but instead stayed at a distance, watching calmly. Only when the 4 corpses were turned into ashes by the flames and the mournful voice completely disappeared did they stop. Dear, you're so clever. If it weren't for your caution, I might have fallen into a trap. Lang Yuexi was overjoyed. She was really surprised at how cunning these foundation establishment cultivators were, that even in death they would have a fallback plan. If she hadn't listened to her dear husband's advice, she might have already fallen into their trap and would have died without even knowing how she died. Such insidious loose cultivators probably had countless trump cards prepared. In the past, a true disciple of the King Mu sect was sneakily killed by Chu Fukai this way. After all, when it came to combat experience and cunning, these sect disciples who had grown up in a greenhouse could never match these loose cultivators who had been lingering between life and death. If it weren't for the lack of talent and poor cultivation techniques, and low-grade magic artifacts on their bodies, he could fight 3 sect disciples of the same level. Chapter 127, Never Endanger Oneself, Wanliu Master's Cave Dwelling. When venturing out, caution is required. These robbing cultivators are all ruthless and treacherous, each with numerous hidden tricks. Once you let down your guard, you may fall prey to their tactics. So when you fight in the future, remember this. Take every tactical advantage possible, surprise them if you can, attack from a distance if possible. Don't foolishly fight in hand-to-hand combat. If you make a mistake, you could lose your life. We cultivators seek to achieve immortality, not to show off our strength. Zhou Sui stood with his hands behind his back, imparting years of cultivation experience to Lang Yuexi. He was well aware of his limitations, he was merely a homebody in his previous life. When it came to combat skills and cunning conspiracies, he was no match for these veteran fighters. However, he had one advantage, caution, he never risked his own safety. As long as he was not greedy and careless, he would encounter no problems. Therefore, he always sent his clone into battle. Even if the enemy happened to have hundreds of tactics, if they actually managed to kill him, he would only lose a clone, not something to fear. From the very beginning, he was on invincible ground. No wonder, sir, you really do have extensive combat experience. If I had been as cautious as you back then, I probably wouldn't have fallen into the ghost demon sex trap. Lang Yuexi looked at Zhou Sui with admiration. She had forgotten that she was a foundation-building cultivator, and the man in front of her was merely a chi practitioner. Normally, it was the foundation-building cultivator who guided the chi practitioner, the roles here had been reversed. But it must be said. Although her talent was astonishing, and her cultivation progressed at an astonishing speed, she spent most of the past 80 years deeply immersed in her cultivation within the sect. She seldom encountered any incidents. Furthermore, due to her noble status, being the sect master's daughter, and her lofty position, this resulted in everyone around her being respectful. None of them would dare to use any cunning strategies against her, they all vied to flatter her. Precisely because of this, she was less vigilant, which resulted in her falling for the ghost demon sex cunning scheme. Lucky for her, she met her beloved and was able to turn danger into safety. Thinking of this, her beautiful eyes filled up even more with love as she looked at Zhou Sui. Don't worry, from now on I'll be by your side, the demon cultivators won't be able to harm you. In fact, we might even eradicate the ghost demon sect in the future, avenging your grievances. Zhou Sui clenched his fists, passionately voicing his wild ambitions. Thank you, dear. Lang Yuexi immediately felt a warming rush. For now, you should stay here. Let me send my clone to check if there are any traps. Once I confirm there are no traps, you can move. With a swoosh, Zhou Sui's clone flew over. He carefully examined the situation, finding that the corpses of the 4 foundation-building cultivators had been reduced to ashes. Roaring sound. The next second, Zhou Sui activated the Dream Soul Goo. While the spirits of the 4 foundation-building cultivators hadn't completely dissipated, he quickly devoured their souls, probing the memories within. Only then, did he finally let his guard down. Since the Dream Soul Goo had devoured their souls, they were definitely utterly dead. There was no chance that they had left any traps behind. I see. A moment later, Zhou Sui had an enlightened look on his face. From the memories of the 4 foundation-building cultivators, he understood the ins and outs of the situation as well as their real identities. These 4 were the infamous 4 demons of Yunwu. They had committed countless atrocities in the Yunwu mountain range, their reputation terrifying. Originally, they did not live here but in another part of Yunwu mountain range. Clearly, these 4 demons of Yunwu were invited here by the foundation building families of the Shen, Xiao and Mu. Apart from the 4 demons of Yunwu, there were also more than a dozen foundation building loose cultivators. All were here to excavate a golden core cave mansion. Although the Yunwu 4 demons wanted to deal with him due to their greed, the end result was kindled by the 3 cultivators with ulterior motives. Obviously, these 3 families had some ideas about their neighboring late-stage foundation building cultivator. However, they dared not reveal anything, so they thought of using the Yunwu 4 demons to probe him out. But perhaps these 3 foundation building families did not expect that the Yunwu 4 demons would be instantly killed before they even took actions. Thinking of this, Zhou Sui shared the information from the memories of these foundation building cultivators with Lang Yuexi. Dear, you mean the Golden Core cave mansion that the Shen family and the other 2 families are excavating is the cave mansion of a person named Wanliu Master. Lang Yuexi's eyes glinted. Right, do you know this Wanliu Master? Zhou Sui asked curiously. From the memories of the foundation builders, he found that the Wanliu Master seemed to be very famous, but the specifics weren't clear to these loose cultivators. After all, they were just loose cultivators, the information they had naturally couldn't compare to the cultivators from sects. Yes. Lang Yuexi nodded. About 500 years ago, this Wanliu Master was in his heyday. He was a foreign golden core master, who once fought invincibly against all golden cores after arriving in our region. Our ancestors from the Immortal Mist sect initially thought that Wanliu Master wanted to establish his Dao lineage here and open a new golden core sect. Surprisingly, he had no such intentions. After some time, this Wanliu Master disappeared without a trace, even our sect's ancestors couldn't find his whereabouts. They originally thought he had left to go somewhere else, but they never expected that he would eventually perish in Yunwu mountain range and leave his cave mansion behind. So that means, if we really can open Wanliu Master's cave mansion, it would be a great reward. Zhou Sui finally understood why the Shen family and the others placed so much emphasis on this golden core cave mansion. Apparently, the name of Wanliu Master held great weight, and if they could obtain his legacy, the benefits would be incredibly significant. They had originally planned to gobble up the treasures inside. But later, they discovered that the prohibition array in the Golden Core cave mansion was too powerful for them to swallow alone. So, they began to invite some foundation building Dao friends to jointly break this Golden Core mansion's array. You could say that. If our Immortal Mist sect, King Mu sect, and others discover this news, even Golden Core masters would take action, leaving no chances for these cultivators. Are they not afraid that such a large-scale operation will leak news and be found out by other sects? Which would then result in them losing everything. Lang Yuexi remarked in astonishment. Well, according to their memories, these foundation builders have all vowed a heart demon's vow to not leak the news. In addition, the prohibition array in the cave mansion is almost broken, and will be completely broken in more than a month. So even if the news does leak out, I'm afraid by then they would have taken all the treasures of the cave mansion and fled. Thinking about it, Zhou Sui was immediately aware of the Shen family and the others' plan. Chapter 128, Famous throughout the Cloud and Mist Mountains, a fearsome reputation. Clearly, the Shen family and the other 2 foundation establishment families also recognized the importance of this Golden Core cave mansion. If this news was leaked, they would certainly lose this cave mansion. Even the Golden Core sect might intervene personally. So, they had prepared ahead of time. Once they seized the treasures inside the Golden Core cave mansion, they would retreat and leave the area immediately. Flee far away. After all, the world was too vast, and not limited to just this place for cultivation. As long as they hid in a place tens of thousands of miles away for cultivation, they could alter their identities. Start cultivation anew. Anyway, as long as they're still alive with the Golden Core inheritance, they can rise from the ashes. The resources of a mere foundation establishment family were far from as important as the Golden Core inheritance. My husband, do you plan to get involved? Lang Yuexi asked in curiosity. No, let's not. A Golden Core cave mansion is not that simple. Who knows what kind of fallback Wanliu Master has left behind? If we fall into their trap, it will be over. We need not bother with them and should focus on our quiet cultivation. Zhou Sui had no interest in getting embroiled in this murky situation. After all, he was only a Qi cultivation stage cultivator for now, he had no qualification to lay a finger on the treasures of the Golden Core cave mansion. Even with Lang Yuexi at his back, he didn't want to take the risk. Because if anything happened to Lang Yuexi in the Golden Core cave mansion, he might not be able to survive in the Yunwu mountain range. There was no need to take risks. Anyway, the treasures he's got now are more than enough for his cultivation. Okay, husband. Lang Yuexi naturally obeyed her husband's words. She wasn't very interested in Wanliu Master's cave mansion either. The most important thing for her right now was core formation. Swish swish swish. In no time, Lang Yuexi and the clone of Zhou Sui returned to the cave. They also brought back all the storage bags from the corpses of the Yunwu 4 demons. After all, these were the lifelong treasures of 4 foundation establishment cultivators, they couldn't be lost. The time for reaping the rewards was next. Of course, opening a foundation establishment cultivator's storage bag was not such an easy task. They all left unique restrictions within their storage bags. If an inappropriate method was used, it would trigger the restrictions, causing the storage bag to disintegrate instantly, destroying everything inside. Fortunately, Zhou Sui had obtained the memories of the 4. He knew how to unlock the restrictions, so he could safely deactivate them and obtain the treasures inside. The next morning. Soon, the cultivators from the Shen family, Mu family, and Xiao family, the 3 large foundation establishment families, discovered the tragic condition of the Yunwu 4 demons camp. They also saw the charred remains of the Yunwu 4 demons. They were all shocked. They had never expected the infamous Yunwu 4 demons to have been killed like this. What happened? Why are our fellow deists dead? And the murderer is so ruthless, they even cremated the remains. A cultivator from the Mu family was dumbstruck, utterly incredulous. After all, he knew full well how fearsome the Yunwu 4 demons were. A foundation establishment cultivator who could escape from the Golden Core sect and gain a reputation in the Yunwu mountain range wouldn't be that simple. But now, these Yunwu 4 demons were just dead, without any noise. They didn't even struggle, which was frightening. Because anyone who can kill the Yunwu 4 demons easily can naturally kill them as well. There are many foundation establishment cultivators in the Yunwu mountain range, basically they are all here. I believe none of them would attack each other. We all made a heart demon oath to assist each other in breaking the Golden Core cave mansion. Could they have encountered a second stage demon beast and perished? A foundation establishment cultivator guessed the cause of the Yunwu 4 demons' death. Impossible, the Yunwu 4 demons are sharp-witted. They survived in the Yunwu mountain range for so long. A second stage demon beast couldn't possibly have ambushed them, let alone prevent them from having a chance to escape. Undoubtedly, only a human cultivator could achieve this. The question is, most of the foundation establishment cultivators in the Yunwu mountain range are here. Who else could have touched them? It couldn't be that a Golden Core master took action, could it? Did you forget? Isn't there a late-stage foundation establishment woman cultivator? It was probably her doing it. Really? Is that late-stage foundation establishment woman cultivator that powerful? She actually killed the Yunwu 4 demons in a moment's notice. Hehe, don't underestimate women cultivators. She's a solitary woman who dares to travel alone, disdaining to join others. This is a display of strength. Indeed, the strong are always different, always special. I guess the Yunwu 4 demons set their sights on that woman, intending to kill her and seize her treasure, but unexpectedly they were killed instead, dying on the spot. One walks night roads often, it was bound to meet ghosts. The Yunwu 4 demons died a worthy death. I saw earlier that the Yunwu 4 demons were a little abnormal, always staring at that valley, seemingly with malicious intentions. But, they encountered a tough enemy and perished. The many foundation establishment cultivators were engaged in animated discussion, gloating over the tragedy. Since they were able to cultivate to this realm, they were naturally shrewd. The individuals who could kill the Yunwu 4 demons were only a few in number, making it easy to guess who it was. Even without evidence, the truth probably wasn't far off. Some of those foundation establishment cultivators with ulterior motives instantly became solemn. Initially, they had some notions about that mysterious foundation establishment female cultivator, but now they had no thoughts about her at all. Instead, they felt a secret sense of relief. Fortunately, the Yunwu 4 demons took the fall for them. If they had acted, they would have followed in the footsteps of the Yunwu 4 demons. At this moment, the many cultivators of the Shen family looked at each other and saw the panic and shock deep within each other's hearts. To tell the truth, they did have some ideas about that cultivator in the valley. After all, so many people had joined the exploration of the Golden Core cave mansion, yet only this female foundation establishment cultivator had not. This led them to suspect that the female foundation establishment cultivator had an ulterior motive. Perhaps she wanted to take advantage of them. Waiting for the moment they break open the Golden Core cave mansion and then launch a surprise attack, thus obtaining the advantage of the fisherman who catches the escaping fish. If they could remove this unstable factor before that, then everyone would be happy. But who would have thought that this female foundation establishment cultivator was so fierce, like a strong dragon crossing the river? She could even counter-kill the Yunyu 4 demons, demonstrating her formidable combat power. If she knew that the Shen family was the one stirring up trouble, the Shen family would not fare well either. Fortunately, they had not intervened in this matter. What they did at most was secretly leak some information and did not participate in the plan to assassinate the female foundation establishment cultivator. So, she couldn't grab hold of their evidences. Thinking of this, the cultivators of the Shen family felt somewhat relieved, but also had some regrets. If they knew earlier that the female establishment cultivator was so terrifying, they wouldn't dare to provoke her in any circumstances. Chapter 129, Obtaining another second stage demon core, a stunning wealth. At this very moment, in the valley, with the memories of these foundation establishment cultivators, Zhou Sui naturally opened the storage bag belonging to the 4 cloud mist demons, broke the ban on it, and began to count the treasures within. I'm rich, there are so many spirit stones. Did they unearth a vein of spirit stones? There are too many middle-grade spirit stones. Zhou Sui's eyes lit up immediately. He found a large amount of spirit stones in the storage bag, and they were all middle-grade spirit stones. They totaled about 20,000 middle-grade spirit stones, a richness dripping with wealth. 20,000 middle-grade spirit stones is equivalent to about 2 million lower-grade spirit stones. This amount of wealth is truly astonishing. Ordinary foundation establishment cultivators could not possibly carry so much wealth. Having a few thousand middle-grade spirit stones would be considered very good. After all, foundation establishment cultivators also need a lot of spirit stones to buy pills, spiritual artifacts, and the like. They are always living from hand to mouth, with no spare money to spare. Of course, this is not the case for wealthy second-stage pill masters. These highly skilled individuals are known to be wealthy in the world of cultivation, and there's no limit to how many spirit stones they can earn. Sometimes even the wealth of a golden core master cannot compare to that of an established second-stage pill master. But as for these Cloud Mist 4 demons, they had so many spirit stones, which had likely been obtained through robbery. Otherwise, it would not be possible to have so many spirit stones stored away. Honestly, even if he went all out selling spiritual wine, he did not know how long it would take to accumulate so many spirit stones. Unsurprisingly, these foundation establishment outlaws were indeed wealthy. If successful, it would be a case of overnight riches. These outlaws robbed others, and he robbed these outlaws. It was a case of black eating black and eliminating evil for the people. He estimated that the cultivators of the Cloud Mist Mountains would even be thankful to him for eliminating these outlaws. These are all secret texts of the demonic path, it's no wonder they are outlaws. How many vicious secret techniques they must have learned. They are all to be eaten by the bookworm, becoming its food. Zhou Sui rubbed his chin. He also found that each of these 4 foundation establishment outlaws carried at least dozens of demon path secret texts, or the heritage jade records. Each one was extremely malicious and harmful to others. In terms of quantity, it certainly couldn't compare to the Lu family's library. But in terms of quality, it was no less. Although he wouldn't practice these demonic path secret texts, he could still feed them to the bookworm. In this way, he could dramatically increase his comprehension time, facilitating the heightening of his pill master cultivation, or abilities of other cultivation techniques and skills. Especially his 7 apertures spirit secret, it will probably take a lot of time to fully consolidate into a heart eye. So he wouldn't dismiss these secret texts, no matter how poor they were. As long as they were unseen secrets, he wanted them all. The more, the better. Of course, in addition to these secret texts, there were also the beast meats and various materials of the beasts hunted by the 4 Cloud Mist demons in the Cloud Mist Mountains. And 136 magic artifacts of various levels and 4 lower-grade spiritual artifacts. Added all together, it was worth at least 15,000 middle-grade spirit stones. No wonder, robbing other cultivators indeed was a shortcut to wealth. No wonder the 4 Cloud Mist demons never tired of it. However, if you walk by the river often, you are bound to get wet. Just one failure could result in experiencing a thorough downfall. The wealth on these loose cultivators is excessive. Lang Yuexi, watching by the side, was also secretly astounded. Even though she was the young sect master of the Immortal Mist sect and the daughter of the sect master with quite a bit of wealth. But how could she compare to these cultivators who roamed and plundered? After all, relying solely on the sect's salary, it was difficult to accumulate so much wealth. Basically, if she wanted to earn wealth, she had to depend on the contributions from various big cultivator families, collecting protection fees. It can't be helped, they are not simply Foundation establishment loose cultivators, but the famous 4 Cloud Mist demons. Even entered the King Mu sect's wanted list, such a big shot, of course he'd have money. Wait, a second stage demon core. There's actually a second stage demon core. At this moment, Zhou Sui's eyes revealed a surprised and joyful expression, quite excited. He initially thought there wouldn't be any more gains. But after a careful search, he found a second stage demon core in his storage bag. Apparently, these Cloud Mist 4 demons also had some gains in the Cloud Mist mountain range, hunting some second stage magical beasts. Although not many second stage magical beasts have inner cores, when the number is large enough, some will always be obtained. The Cloud Mist 4 demons were just like this. When they hunted a second stage magical beast, they obtained a second stage demon core from it. All they had done was not sell it off in time, which ended up benefiting Zhou Sui. Great, with this second stage demon core, I can refine a foundation pill again. Zhou Sui was overjoyed. Initially, he wanted to join forces with his Dao companion Lang Yuexi to continue hunting second stage magical beasts in order to obtain inner cores. But now it seems, there's no need to take further risks. After all, the Cloud Mist mountain range is dominated by magical beasts. If too many second stage magical beasts are hunted, it might stir up a beast tide. If it enrages a third stage magical beast deep in the mountain range, it would be disastrous. Now with this second stage demon core, everything is settled, and he can definitely refine a foundation pill. Congratulations, husband! Lang Yuexi was also overjoyed, doubling their happiness. She also knew that with her husband's pill master skills, having a second stage demon core meant that refining a foundation pill is basically a done deal. Those Cloud Mist 4 demons really are quite the fortune-handing boys, to think they would even gift them such a huge advantage after their death. Yuexi, let's celebrate! Zhou Sui lifted Lang Yuexi around her waist, feeling exhilarated. That's not a celebration, you're clearly taking advantage of me. Lang Yuexi's face turned red, her body went limp, and she couldn't muster any strength. But she didn't resist, letting him have his way. To tell the truth, she now understood why her 3 companions were so addicted to this. She was initially naive and didn't understand. But after these days of education, she now understands that this is one of life's great pleasures. Not becoming addicted to it is pretty much impossible. Moreover, every time they cultivated together, she could improve her cultivation and physical state. This was way better than practicing diligently by herself. Where else in the world could you find so many activities that are both fun and helpful for cultivation? You can't blame Zhou Sui either. Especially because this world doesn't have internet or entertainment venues like KTV. Once it gets dark, there's really nothing else to do, but everyone doesn't want to sleep so early. This also explains why there were so many children born in ancient times. After several more days, Zhou Sui also refined pills again. Having succeeded last time, the pill refining process this time was even smoother. In just one day, he was successful, once again refining 3 high-quality foundation pills. Truth be told, he's now a bit troubled. After all, he just needed 1 foundation pill. The other 2 were surplus resources. That's not a big deal though. Who would complain about having too many foundation pills? It's a strategic resource. If you brought it to an auction, it would provoke countless cultivators into a frenzy, auctioning it at a staggering price. Chapter 130, Wife and Concubine Successfully Establish Foundation, Joy upon Joy. A month passed quickly. In the valley. This is where Ji Binjiu, Xia Jinjian and Mu Ziyi had been secluded for practice. After a month of arduous cultivation, they finally achieved a breakthrough. With the tremendous influx of nature's spiritual energy, their bodies underwent an astonishing transformation. However, their secluded dwelling was bound by a 7th-order formation, hence the commotion from their breakthrough was not noticed by others. Boom! At this moment, Ji Binjiu, Xia Jinjian and Mu Ziyi almost simultaneously emerged from their dwelling, their faces brimming with joy, their aura 10 times stronger than before. Clearly, they had leveled up to the Foundation Establishment realm, becoming Foundation Establishment cultivators. Haha, sisters, who would have thought that we would promote to the Foundation Establishment realm at the same time? This is really worth celebrating. Ji Binjiao laughed heartily, feeling overjoyed. To be honest, she hadn't anticipated this day. After all, for a loose cultivator, the chance to become a Foundation Establishment cultivator is extremely low. Even her past self would not have dared to claim 100% certainty of becoming a Foundation Establishment cultivator. The resources needed for a Foundation pill alone wasn't something an ordinary cultivator could obtain. And yet, now, her two sisters and herself had managed to break through and become Foundation Establishment cultivators on the same day. If word of this got out, it would certainly make a good tale to tell. It's normal, our vitality, energy, and spirit have all reached a perfect state, and with the top-grade Foundation pill, had we failed, that would have been the unusual event. Xia Jinjian couldn't help but sigh. She had come to understand the immense value of top-grade Foundation pills. They were indeed capable of boosting the chance of establishing a foundation by 50%, and the exorbitant price they fetched at auctions was indeed justified. When she took the top-grade Foundation pill, its potent medicinal strength improved her physical constitution, mana, and spiritual sense, bringing about an all-round transformation within her. The entire process was essentially risk-free, and she smoothly became a Foundation Establishment cultivator. If she hadn't experienced it herself, she wouldn't have believed that the Foundation Establishment process could have been so simple and easy. Isn't that so? It's all thanks to our Lord. Without the top-grade Foundation pill he refined, who knows how long we would have had to wait to successfully establish our foundations. Our Lord probably doesn't even know we've succeeded in our Foundation establishment yet. Let's all go and give him a surprise. Muzai exclaimed excitedly. Upon hearing this, Ji Binjiao and Xia Jinjian immediately nodded in agreement. They were eager to share their joy of successful Foundation establishment with their Lord. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Without saying another word, Ji Binjiao, Xia Jinjian, and Muzai instantly moved to the stone house in the center of the valley, and upon entering, they heard a series of familiar noises. With a creaking sound, they pushed open the door. What? The sight within instantly shocked Ji Binjiao, Xia Jinjian, and Muzai. They were completely stunned. They had not expected to see such a scene unfold before them. Each one of them turned red, not knowing what to say. A few minutes later, a clearly dressed Zhou Sui, and a totally blushing Lang Yuexi, who wished she could bury her head underground, finally emerged from the bedroom. My lord, I didn't expect you to get together with Senior Lang while we were in secluded cultivation. Isn't this a bit too efficient? Xia Jinjian looked at Zhou Sui with a strange expression on her face. She was at a loss for words. Although she knew that this man was quite affectionate, she had not expected him to go this far. He had even gotten a Foundation Establishment female cultivator. And even succeeded, it was beyond belief. Who could believe it if they hadn't seen it with their own eyes? Due to the shocking surprise, she didn't even know what facial expression to put on, or what her current feelings were. No wonder he's our lord, even a fairy like Senior Lang couldn't escape your grasp. Ahem, no wait, she couldn't resist your charm, right? You're truly formidable. Muzai stared at Zhou Sui with admiration. Unlike the others, she harbored no feelings of jealousy, simply feeling admiration and awe. After all, she knew well that Lang Yuexi was the young sect master of the Immortal Mist sect and a recognized genius with a first-grade spiritual root, with countless admirers. Despite numerous advances, she had remained untouched and single all these years. Yet, who could have anticipated that she'd end up in their lord's arms? If word of this got out, it would definitely shake the whole Immortal Mist sect. This wasn't simply a case of turning a previously unfavorable situation to one's advantage, it was like hitting the jackpot. I'm sorry, it's all my fault. It's all my doing, it has nothing to do with our lord. With her face all red, Lang Yuexi said weakly, implying that all was her doing, and Zhou Sui had nothing to do with it. If not for her, Zhou Sui wouldn't have done this. Upon hearing this, Xia Jinjian twitched at the corner of her mouth. She was astonished. Just how charming was their lord for even an accomplished female cultivator at the peak of Foundation Establishment realm, and a fairy from the Immortal Mist sect, to openly admit her mistake and apologize. It was as if a husband had cheated and yet the wife held a press conference to apologize, claiming that it was due to her lack of charm and capability that led her husband to stray. That's okay, Sister Ling, it's a joyous occasion for us to have you join our family. we wouldn't have time to blame you. It's an honor to have you fancy our lord. As long as we love each other from now on and consider each other family, it's all that matters. Ji Binjiu smiled slightly and stepped forward to comfort. Thank you. Upon hearing these words, Lang Yuexi heaved a sigh of relief. Initially, she had been worried that her rash actions might upset Zhou Sui's 3 partners. But to her surprise, they were magnanimous and not only accepted her inclusion but even welcomed it. Indeed, these sisters were good people. Sister Ling, we've all just advanced to the foundation establishment realm and yet to consolidate our strengths. We were hoping that you could guide us on how to cultivate at this realm. We hope you don't mind. Xia Jinjian also stepped forward to express her goodwill. Well, that's something I can definitely help with. Lang Yuexi smiled faintly. When it came to her expertise, she could talk for hours on end. Immediately, the 4 of them started a passionate discussion. What? Zhou Sui blinked, his face looking a bit strange. He initially thought a big fight was imminent. But he had forgotten that this wasn't his previous life. Instead, this was a cultivation world. The moral values of this cultivation world were entirely different from Earth. In his previous life, seeking other women was considered immoral, but in the cultivation world, it's perfectly natural for the strong to have multiple women, no one would find it unusual.